Where Star Trek, TNG's crew is in Lower Decks' finale. When Star Trek, Lower Decks reached its finale, it wasn't just a send-off for its animated misfit crew of the USS Cerritos. The show cleverly folded itself into the wider Star Trek timeline, and that meant answering a long-pondered question: what exactly happened to the Next Generation crew in the post-Nemesis era? While Lower Decks always wore its TNG love on its sleeve, through cameos, references, and visual callbacks, the finale felt like a celebration of that legacy, giving fans a glimpse of where Captain Picard's famous officers stood in this quirky corner of the galaxy. Captain Jean-Luc Picard, the legend at arm's length. By the time of the Lower Decks finale, Jean-Luc Picard is still one of the most respected figures in Starfleet history, but the Cerritos' ensigns only encounter him in the form of myth. Picard's voice, his speeches, and even his diplomacy are often quoted as training material, but he never personally appears, likely because the Admiral has transitioned into a quieter life of teaching and guiding. The finale cements that, showing Starfleet officers debating whether the Picard maneuver should still be part of tactical training. His absence is intentional. He doesn't overshadow Mariner, Boimler, and the others, yet his presence is felt in the reverence the younger crew holds for him. William Riker, still the life of the party and the bridge. If Picard stays at a distance, Riker does the opposite. Lower Decks made him a recurring presence, commanding the USS Titan with his usual mix of charm and chaos. By the finale, Riker remains the connective tissue between TNG and Lower Decks. He pops up one last time, not just as comic relief, but to offer genuine support to Boimler, reminding him that command doesn't mean losing your sense of fun. Riker represents the TNG crew most at home in this animated, slightly exaggerated Starfleet universe, and his finale appearance is both hilarious and heartfelt. Deanna Troi, the counselor everyone still needs. Troi, alongside Riker, provides grounding wisdom. In the finale, she's shown guiding junior officers through emotional stress after the Cerritos' latest disaster. Her role reinforces her TNG legacy, the person who helps others see through self-doubt. While she gets fewer comedic beats than Riker, her gentle guidance in Lower Decks underscores how vital she remains, both to Starfleet and to her husband's chaotic energy. The finale gives her one last chance to remind Mariner that emotional growth is as heroic as tactical brilliance. Worf, the Klingon of two worlds. Worf doesn't physically appear in Lower Decks' finale, but his influence hovers like a disruptor blast waiting to strike. The show often references Klingon honor codes, warrior chants, and training programs that directly call back to Worf's legacy. In the finale, a Cerritos officer even jokes that no one can brood like Worf. His absence mirrors his complicated timeline. By this point in canon, Worf has been a Federation ambassador, a Starfleet officer, and possibly even aligned with Klingon politics. Lower Decks leaves him as a distant but legendary figure, larger than life. Data, a legacy, not a presence. Data's story in Star Trek, Nemesis ended tragically, and Lower Decks honors that by never undercutting it with a cheap gag. Instead, the finale highlights how junior officers still study his career as a model of bravery and self-sacrifice. One Cerritos ensign even refers to the android who became more human than most humans. That single nod places Data's legacy firmly in the hearts of future Starfleet officers, keeping his story alive without resurrecting him. Geordi LaForge, the engineer's engineer. If any TNG member is most directly tied to Cerritos-style adventures, it's Geordi. He's the reason many engineers in Lower Decks got into the field in the first place. By the finale, Geordi has transitioned into a senior Starfleet role, but the Cerritos crew still idolize his knack for pulling miracles from warp cores. Rutherford, in particular, gushes about him, calling him the patron saint of engineers. Even unseen, Geordi's influence on the next generation of problem solvers is immense. Beverly Crusher, the healer beyond the sickbay. Crusher's name surfaces in the finale when Dr. Tana grumbles about that perfect doesn't parade every TNG character across the screen. Instead, it sprinkles references, tributes, and cameos in ways that keep the Cerritos crew central while reminding audiences that the next generation cast looms large over this era of Starfleet. Each officer, whether through a joke, a cameo, or a remembered legacy, feels present in spirit. In the end, the finale proves something important. The Cerritos may be a second contact ship full of underdogs, but their journey is undeniably shaped by the paths Picard's crew blazed before them. TNG's heroes live on not as distant legends, but as touchstones that guide Starfleet's future